Welcome back to the channel, everyone. We are doing a little bit more candle magic, and this time we are going to be doing stuff about manifesting love. So it's been a while since I've done one of these videos, and you guys have been requesting that I do another one, and I thought it's about time now. Some of the things I like to start off with is making sure we have a white candle going. That is always just to clear the air and the energy in the room. So I have started and I lit my white candle. Another thing that I like to do before I get started with anything is getting something to clear the space and the energy, and we can either sage it or use some clearing crystals to get that started. So I have just a variety of things that you might have in your house or your collection that you might want to use, and those are good to start with. The next thing you're going to need to use for the ritual is you're going to need some candles. I got these cheaply off of Amazon. You can find them just about anywhere though. And for doing any kind of love spell, I would recommend using whites, red, pink. You can use purple if you want, but that would be kind of incorporating some other things. I'll go do another video about that later. But those are the colors I would do. For this video, I'm just going to focus on a red candle. You can also incorporate some oils, and we're going to dress our candle in this video, so I will explain that as well. I'm also going to be using some herbs to dress our candle. Alright, let's go over some of the herbs and spices that we can use in the recipe itself. I'm just going to give you some ideas. You don't have to use all of these, but the first thing I'm going to incorporate is saffron. This encourages love, passion, and seduction into the relationship. Some other flowers that you might want to use are roses, which would encourage divine love, sexuality, romance, marriage, and just relationships in general. Another good flower to use, with the roses you can use pink or white or red. I'm using both pink and red. Another flower you can use is lavender, which is good for protection of love, and hibiscus, which just encourages love and passion in general. Also chamomile, which would be good for luck, love, and more kind of a lusty spell. I'm also incorporating the pink salt to protect us from any gossip, third-party people, homewreckers, that sort of nature. The black salt is also for protection and to remove any hexes that may have been put on us. You can also use cinnamon to help speed and boost the energy and passion in this ritual and the energy in your relationship. You can use it either in the essential oil form or you can use it in a powder form, just to give you guys some ideas of what to do. So I'm going to also show you how I dress a candle as well. And I also want to remind you that in your rituals, it's always a good idea to incorporate fire, earth, which would be any of the elements like the florals, and then I'm using a feather for the air representation, and then water for the water. That's just how I like to do my stuff to keep everything really balanced, and that way we're not forgetting anything. So again, when I do incorporate fire though, I use a white candle because that keeps the energy pure and it's a cleansing energy. Now that we've gone over the basics, let's get into the candle dressing itself. Just remember that you can use any of the candles that you picked. I will be using a red candle for this particular ritual. Again, that's the best one to use in my opinion for love, romance, those kind of things. So I'm setting it down on a tray just so it doesn't get messy everywhere. And then I'm going to use my oils that I've made ahead of time. Incorporating that cinnamon oil that I talked about. It also has just a carrier oil in it. You know, that would be anything like olive oil, sweet almond oil, any kind of liquid oils. But I just keep this with me. It's something that I've made. I just want to make sure that I generously drizzle the oil over everything so that the florals will stick to it. Try not to get the wick wet when you're doing this, just because some of the oil and stuff can be like a little bit more flammable, and you'll kind of see that as I show the video. So again, it's always good to watch your candles when we're doing stuff, or especially if you're adding stuff like this. You definitely don't want to do this and leave the candle, and when you do set it up, you want to make sure you have it set in a safe spot. So just reminding you of that again. but I am just dressing it with the flowers that I described. I'm also going to do the salt kind of mixture and sprinkle some of that over it as well, and then I'm just going to roll it around in the oils and make sure that it gets pretty good coated in the mixture. And then I will set it aside for 10 to 15 minutes just to make sure that all the herbs and stuff dry to it, and stick to it a little bit better. So once everything on this candle has dried, it's ready to move on to the next part. And we are just going to go ahead and light the candle. I ran out of the little holders that hold these candles up. I don't know where I placed mine. I can't find it. So I'm just going to put it in this dish that I found, and I'm going to light the end. And then I'm going to drip a little wax into the dish and set it aside. You do want to be careful when you do this because it can crack the glass that you're setting it on, so just keep that in mind if you're doing something like this. I had to wait just a minute for the wax to build up. Do be careful because, it is hot, it is fire. So, again, just be smart when you're doing stuff like this. One other thing that I like to set out on my altar or put with my container when I'm doing something like this is some crystals. Some of the crystals that I incorporated for this sort of ritual is moonstone. That is to help bring new beginnings. It helps balance female energy. It is also just divine feminine energy, good for pregnancy, childbirth, any of those sort of things if you're trying to, conceive. Then I also added rose quartz, which is known for just love and bringing, a loving energy. It could be friendship or romantic type of love. And the last stone that I want to incorporate with something like this is the rhodonite. That would inspire you to bring love and joy and even self-love into a relationship. So those are just good reminders of things to add to your place where you're setting this up, and just keep those handy. I am going to use a jar that I found. You can use any jar to add your items to. I'm just going to use a jar that I found. I like this jar. I've cleaned it out and used it. It used to be like a candle jar. So I'm going to put our powder mixture into the jar, and then I'm going to add some of those floral elements that I told you about into the jar as well. And once all those are added to the jar itself, I kind of set that aside while the candle is burning, and then I will get out a piece of paper and start writing some of the stuff that we want to put in our person. We are actually going to do two separate parts or two separate lists when we're writing here. The first one, you are going to write all the qualities of the ideal partner that you have in your mind. So they can be very, very specific. In fact, I encourage you to visualize something more specific. Don't focus on a certain person, but you're focusing on traits of that person. So if you want somebody that is hardworking, caring, things of those nature, go ahead and write those down on your paper. You can even incorporate some physical aspects, but just keep in mind, if you do keep it a little bit more general and open, it's easier to manifest. If you are going to get very specific, like you want brown hair or blonde hair, something of that nature, you may need to do this type of spell multiple days in a row, or get a larger spell candle when you're doing something like this. The second part we're going to do when writing our list is the counterpart to this list. You are going to start listing all of the characteristics or what you need to do to attract that person. So if you're asking for somebody that is a hardworking individual, you might also want to list that you are a hard worker, or you prioritize your work, or you maybe just want to be more available to that person to help them with their line of work. You can incorporate something like that, but whatever you think this person is looking for, you want to incorporate that on your side of the list or your part of the list. And the third part that I forgot to mention earlier, I do recommend that you do, if you're doing something like this, at the end, once you're done writing this, is write a few affirmations about love or how you feel about love that are positive. They can be things like, I am worthy of love, love is abundant, love will come and flow to me. Just maybe, describing your positive energy and how you're going to attract that love into you. And then once you've finished your list, just go ahead and fold it up a few times, and you can put it into the little jar container that you have with all of your other items, which could include, like I said, the mixture that you made. You can include your crystals in there, and then you can include the note or piece of paper in there. If you want, you could also, if you don't want to do a jar, you could also bury all of this stuff outside and put it in the ground, and that will help your manifestation come into light as well. Or you can put the jar underneath your bed and literally sleep on the ideas that you have and keep it under there until you meet your ideal person. That is the other option. I wouldn't leave it sitting on the altar after you do the ritual. You want to either bury it or, like I said, sleep on the literal ideas that you wrote down. So I hope this gives you guys some ideas on how to manifest, your ideal person and bring them into your life quickly. If you guys like this kind of video or enjoy this content, don't forget to like the video if you learned something today, and then subscribe to the channel, because that helps me know that you guys like this content, and I will come out with more sort of manifesting ideas, rituals, and things of that nature. And thank you guys all for watching, and if you have questions, go ahead and leave me a comment down below. I love hearing from you guys. I love hearing what you guys do in your rituals as well. So if you want to share something with the community, please put it down there, and that way we can all get ideas. Again, this is kind of just giving you an idea how crazy the flame can be on candles if you're dressing them. So I do want to show you this, but you don't want to put the candle out, so you need to put it somewhere where it's safe, that you know that it's not going to catch anything on fire, and then you do the ritual until you're literally till the end. You don't blow the candle out or anything like that. You let it go till it's smoking at the end.